Guys, I am going to show you how to make some really cool text edits today. Like you can see here, right now I have two examples. One is colored, one is not. For this assignment you can use whatever word you want. I'm just going to exit out of these and start from the beginning. So when you first get into Adobe Illustrator, you're just going to want to hit Create New. And you're going to find an A4 size document if it's not already pulled up. If you go to print, A4 is right in there. So I'm going to go ahead and hit create. First thing you are going to do is go over to the type tool on the left hand side of your screen. And you're going to have to click on your artboard. This is where you are going to type in the word you want to use for your project. I'm just going to go with my name. You can choose really whatever you want. Over on the right side of the screen you can edit your text, so I went ahead and changed my size so it was much bigger. I'm also going to click where it says Myriad Pro and I'm going to change the font. So I'm going to click on Noteworthy, but you guys can select any font you want as long as it's not Myriad Pro. You just need to search through and find something else. Okay, once you have your text the way you want it, the first step is going to be easy. You just have to click on your text, and over on the right side of your screen where it says Properties, if you look all the way at the bottom, there is a button here that says Create Outlines. So you are going to press that, and what that does is it makes your font uneditable. It makes it into shapes. So right now I have my outlines. The next step, I'm going to click on my font again. I need to change my colors. So I'm going to go over to the right side. I'm going to give it a white fill, and you need to give it a black stroke. So your text should look like this. Now we're going to start editing it even further. So I'm going to select my text. Up at the top of my screen I'm going to go to Object. You are going to want to find Envelope Distort, which is toward the bottom, and Make with Mesh. So Object, Envelope Distort, Make with Mesh. So it asks you how many rows and columns you want. You just want the same amount of rows and columns as you have letters. So I have 1, 2, 3. I'm going to count the period as a fourth. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I'm going to go up to 11 rows and 11 columns and hit OK. So if you have a 5-letter word, you want your rows and columns to be at 5. You just have to count how many letters you have and set that. Now you get kind of something funky. What this does is it allows you to twist and warp and edit your letters. So you're going to have to go over and switch to your direct selection tool, so that filled in mouse. And if you click on anchor points, you can use your arrow keys on your keyboard to warp and edit your text. So I'm going to take a couple seconds here to just do a little bit of warping and to add a little bit, just a little bit more to my text. You can do this as much or as little as you want. If you are really into the effect, please make sure your text still ends up being readable. I want to be able to see what you are actually writing. Okay. I think this is pretty cool. I'm happy with how this turned out. So the next step for me, I'm going to make sure all this is selected. And I'm just going to go up to Object and click Expand. If you go to Object and you can't see the word expand, you just have to make sure you get back on your selection tool, you select your text, and then go from there. So I'm just going to go Object, Expand. And this all looks good. I'm going to hit OK. Next step, I'm going to make 3 copies. So you can do that by holding Command-C, Command-V on your computer. Or if you want to, you can hold down Option and drag. You're going to want to line up your copies like so. So there's going to be a little bit of space in between them. You want them all lined up. Next step, you are going to select all of these. And we're going to go back up to Object. So this time we're going to go Object, Blend, Make. Object, Blend, Make. And then we're going to keep editing. So now we're going to go to Object, Blend, Blend Options. Where it says spacing, we want to change this to specified steps. And you're going to want to hit the preview box. And you can add as many steps as you really want here. I feel like around 10 is pretty good. You can add a little bit more, a little bit less if you need to. I'm going to go with 9 for right now and hit OK. The next step, we are going to keep editing this just a little bit further. So the next thing we do, we actually need to make ourselves a circle. So over in the left side of your screen, make sure you grab an ellipse. This is going to seem weird for a second, but I promise it'll all make sense. Once you have your circle, you're going to switch to your direct selection tool. And we've edited with our direct selection tool before, so don't let this confuse you. If you click on your shape, you can see all these points. So I'm going to click on one point at a time. I want to delete that top point, and I want to delete the point over here on the right side. So now I am just left with these 2 points. I am going to select this bottom right point, and I'm going to grab this little blue handle on the left. I can grab it and I can pull it to edit this point. Okay, so I'm going to grab it and I'm going to pull it up so that I have a shape that looks like this. And if you're like, whoa, Miss Kruger, that was way too much, if you hop on your pen tool, you can use it to try and make a custom shape like this too. Okay. Once you have this shape, I'm just going to rotate mine the other way. Kind of like a funky looking S. Alright, once you have it, you're going to scoot it by your letters, and you're going to need to select everything. So you're going to select your letters and that shape you just made. Make sure you have it all. Then you're going to go back up to Object. You're going to go back down to Blend, and this time you're going to hit the button that says Replace Spine. Pretty darn cool, right guys? So that replace spine is what allows it to warp, and it's warping in that same curve that we just made. Pretty neat. Just another option for you, if you go Object and you go back to Blend, you can also reverse your spine. So if you want the lettering to go the other way, like if you want it moving up, you can do that. You can make it go down, however you want it. The last step is going to be to add some colors to this. So over in my layers, I am going to select this little arrow so it drops down. And I'm going to go to the next one, do the same thing, and I'm going to do it one more time. What I am doing is I am trying to see everything I have built here. So I can see I did that reverse spine and I have multiple parts of my letters. So this is going to be something called layer targets, which are on the right side of your screen. So I'm going to start by clicking the first layer target I want. I can see my letters right here. When I select the layer target, it shows me on the screen it's selecting the top of my letters. So I'm just going to go back to properties and choose a color. Now if I go back to layers, I'm going to click on the next layer target, which is the next layer of text. I'm going to go back to properties and I'm going to fill this one. And then same thing one more time, go to the bottom layer, hit the target button on the right side, and now when I go to properties, I can fill it in. So now I am left with some super funky text. To turn this in, you just need to hit File, Save As, save it as a PDF, and turn it into Canvas.